Your EBT is changing in a pretty big way for the low income. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to focus on your EBT and some big changes they are now suggesting may be coming to all 43 million beneficiaries who do receive SNAP benefits, otherwise known as food stamps, across the entire country. We've got a lot to talk about here in this video, and this is a big change we want to certainly pay attention to. Therefore, let's get into it and talk through all the details. First off, before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day to help you out in any way that I possibly can, as well as keeping you informed of all the changes as things are happening very, very fast. Also, as long as you're right down below the video hitting that subscribe button, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to like the video and of course share this one with your friends, family, and social media so we can continue to reach and help out as many people as we can right now as things continue to change during this very busy, confusing, and uncertain time, especially those people that are receiving these SNAP benefits, food stamps, and who have an EBT card. Thanks again. Please subscribe down below, and let's get into it and talk about the details of these big changes that they're now talking about and how this would impact virtually all EBT card holders across the entire country. Which, by the way, EBT is technically not the benefit, but rather EBT is just an acronym that stands for Electronic Balance Transfer, which is essentially the generic name for the cards that about 43 million people have across the entire country, where your SNAP benefits, otherwise known as food stamps, are loaded onto each and every month. Now, depending on where you're located around the country, some of these states have different names for their SNAP program, and their cards even have different names as well. But either way, it's all essentially the same thing. EBT is Electronic Balance Transfer, and that's the card that we're referring to. It's basically a debit card, right? So every single month, they load some money onto it. You get to go to the store and you get to spend the money. And then once it goes down to zero or very close to zero, basically that's about it, right? You don't have any more money until the next time that they refill your card for you with more benefits the following month, right? Again, you all know this. I don't need to sit here and talk about all the details of that. That's not the change. However, let me talk about the details, because if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for the last several months now, in fact, probably the last, 8, 9, 10 months or so, I've talked about this a little bit as far as what they want to do to SNAP benefits and some of the things that are going on out there right now, especially over the last year or so. A lot of weird things have been going on, and they actually passed some legislation late last year in 2022 that has gone into effect, and again, helping and protecting SNAP beneficiaries. But now they're talking about potentially changing the EBT card in a pretty massive way. All right, so here's what it comes down to. The EBT card, I can tell you this much, it's kind of like a gift card. It doesn't really have a whole lot of protection within it, as in a gift card. Think of that for just a second, right? You get a gift card from somebody. It has a barcode or something on the back of it. You go to the, register when you're ready to check out with your, whatever you want to buy at the store that you have a gift card for. You essentially scan the barcode or you hand it to the cashier. They scan it and boom, that's it, right? Works as like a debit card. You have so much money loaded onto it. Once it goes down to zero, that's it, right? It's over, right? You're kind of done with it, right? Same thing goes with an EBT card, and the same thing goes with SNAP benefits and, food stamp benefits, is that, when you get those benefits loaded onto your card, same thing. It's a debit card, and that's about it, right? However, the EBT card, unlike credit cards and debit cards and things like that, doesn't exactly have a whole lot of security measures within it. For example, remember a bunch of years ago, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago? I'm honestly not really sure when it was. It was a number of years ago where all of a sudden there was this whole big hack with a bunch of these different big box stores out there where a bunch of people's data was released, and then we got the inception of these little chips in credit cards. Do you remember that whole thing? That was maybe 10 years ago or so. I'm just kind of guessing. I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but remember that? Prior to that, we just had the magnetic strip on the back of credit cards, right? You swipe the card and boom, there you go. You're good. Well, then they started implementing these little chips, right, to increase protections and to increase security on these credit cards and debit cards. So that's pretty standard now. You pretty much don't get a card without that anymore, right? However, the problem with EBT cards is it's a lot like a gift card, right? It doesn't really have a whole lot of protections. Once you get the money loaded onto it, it's basically there and it acts as a debit card or just like a gift card, like that example that I was giving you a minute ago, right? So the problem with this is that in the event of, you have a credit card, a debit card, or something like this, if somebody were to get your number or your expiration and all the details like that and start trying to buy things with that, you could call your bank, you could call the credit card company, and they would say, and you can say, hey, this wasn't me. Can you reverse this? And they will take care of it right away. They will help you out with that. A lot of times, they click a few buttons on their end and boom, you're good to go. You're pretty much fine, okay? Now, again, when it comes down to EBT cards, it's not really like that. If somebody were to get your personal information, your card information, your PIN number, stuff like that, which they can get it, people that have bad intentions, they can get that information. Now, all of a sudden, they can drain your card, and what can you do about it? Well, not a whole lot. You can contact your local office, and in some cases, get those benefits reinstated, but for the most part, not a whole lot. Same thing goes with a gift card with this example that I'm giving you, right? If somebody were to take the information off of a gift card that you have, they could drain that gift card and there'd be nothing you could do about it, right? You could maybe go to the store and tell them the situation, and the store would probably say, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do, right? For the most part, they would have no protections on that card whatsoever. However, as a result of this, they're finding that these EBT cards have very limited protections, right? They don't have a whole lot of protection built within them. And if somebody were to happen to get your information, including the card information and your PIN number, they could drain your card. And then again, like I said, there's not a whole lot you can do other than contact your local office. Well, basically what I've been seeing out there is that they want to redesign and basically add a bunch of security measures into all of these EBT cards across the entire country, okay? Like I said, this encompasses about 43 million SNAP beneficiaries, and what they want to do is completely redesign this card and add a bunch of security measures within it. Now, like I said, they do have the PIN number, okay? But I mean, let's be real. How many of us use very ambiguous, 4-digit numbers for our security code? Maybe like our birth date, maybe whatever. I mean, seriously, it's not that hard to guess if somebody had to get it, right? Not only that, they have these little devices they put on these little kiosk machines at the checkout counter that gathers all that data. When you swipe your card into it, it gathers all that data, including your PIN number. And then there you go, they have that information. So the problem with all this is that they want to add more security measures into these EBT cards so that people cannot take these benefits as easily as they currently are right now. So as a result of that, this would be a major overhaul of the EBT card. So right now, it's a pretty basic card, right? It's a pretty basic card. You go to the checkout counter, you swipe your card, you type in your PIN number, and boom, you're good to go, right? For the most part. I mean, obviously, it might be a little bit different in some locations with some cards, but virtually, it's essentially the same thing. Acts like a debit card or something like that, right? Doesn't really take a whole lot. But what they want to do is redesign this entire card, adding more security measures so it's a lot more like a debit card or a credit card so that it's a lot harder for people to get that vital, critical information off of your card and to ultimately take the benefits. Because let's just be real for a second. What happens, okay? You go to the checkout counter. In the current card that you have now, somebody takes that information. They can easily do it. I've been talking about it in other videos. They take that information. All of a sudden, your benefits are gone, right? Your benefits have been taken from you. Now what? Well, like I said, you can call your local office. Well, then what? They can reinstate some of those benefits up to certain thresholds. Well, then guess what? It's costing these states and local governments a lot of extra money because people are, taking benefits, as in people that have ill intentions, essentially emptying the cards of SNAP beneficiaries, and then, wait, it's costing these states extra money. And they're saying, wait, why don't we just come up with a long-term solution where we just completely redesign the card, add more security measures so we don't need to deal with this. It's going to cost us more up front to do this, but in the long run, we're going to be way, way ahead financially if we stop and make it a lot harder for these individuals to take benefits from SNAP beneficiaries. So all that kind of makes sense, right? So the initial investment of redesigning all of these cards would be, pretty substantial. I'm really not sure. I've seen a few different numbers out there. It'd be in the millions. I mean, what's not in the millions these days, right? I mean, seriously, it'd be millions upon millions of dollars, but that initial investment would ultimately, pay for itself over long periods of time unless they want to continue, reinstating these benefits that are being, wrongly taken from SNAP beneficiaries. And then ultimately, at some point in the future, they're going to do this anyway. So this is the major overhaul of the EBT card that I've been seeing floating around out there. Now, they've also indicated this would probably take a pretty long time. Well, yeah, it probably would take a pretty long time, but why? Why would it take that long, right? You can go online right now, you can get approval for a credit card, and you can have that credit card in your possession in like 3 days, okay? It's not that hard, right? I mean, seriously, these credit card companies pump out these cards left and right. I don't know why it'd be that hard for them to do this. I mean, they could easily do it. What do they have to print? 43 million cards? Wouldn't take that long, right? They could easily do this stuff a lot faster. But then, of course, there's all the logistical reasons. There's all the political reasons. There's all kinds of different things like this that they have to jump through. All kinds of different hoops. Who's going to pay for it? All kinds of stuff like this. So it's just like, protect the people. I don't know. It just seems like, based on what I've been talking about in some of these recent videos as well, I've been saying this. Just protect the beneficiaries. I mean, seriously, if somebody is living on SNAP benefits, if somebody is getting food stamp benefits, the last thing that they need is a headache where somebody has come in and taken their benefits from them wrongly, and now they got to jump through a million hoops trying to get those benefits reinstated with their local state office, right? What a headache. Seriously, I've talked about that a few times before in other videos, and this is a real thing that's happening right now, okay? So anyway, make sure to check out those other videos if you want to see the data of what is actually going on and how these benefits are being taken from SNAP beneficiaries. But long story short, what they want to do is redesign the EBT card across the entire country, okay? So again, would it be a federal project, as in, quick side note, by the way, remember this much: SNAP benefits, federally funded, state administered. Again, another can of worms, another headache, because then they ask the question of who's going to pay for it. Is it going to be a federal expense, as in, are they going to do it across the entire country, or is each state going to do this on the state-by-state level? We would have to cross our fingers that it's done on the federal level, because the federal government has way more money than states do. States have a few $billion. States are kind of broke for the most part. I mean, actually right now they have surpluses of cash, but my point is states are broke when it comes down to the comparison to the federal government. Federal government has virtually unlimited amounts of money, okay? So we would cross our fingers and hope that the federal government would pay for this, because if it comes down to the states, it's going to cost, well, a lot of money. It's going to be on an individualized basis, state by state by state. It's going to take forever if they ever do it in the first place. And then again, there's a whole bunch of other reasons. So either way, I'll continue to keep you posted, but this is something that I've been seeing out there, and I want to bring it to your attention so you can stay posted on what is actually going on here and what they're talking about as far as changing your SNAP benefit card, your EBT card, not your benefits. This has nothing to do with your benefits other than protecting your benefits. It would be changing your EBT card, if that makes sense, right? Either way, I know a lot of weird stuff going on right now. I hope this makes sense. Please leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. If you want me to elaborate on this further, of course, I can come back and do that in a separate video. Otherwise, I hope this explains it. In other words, long story short, they want to change your EBT card to make it more secure. Make sense? I should have just said that at the beginning of the video. It would have made this video like 34 seconds long rather than however long this is. I hope that makes sense. Either way, I just want to keep you posted with everything going on that I'm seeing out there right now. I'll keep you updated with anything else going on out there, including, well, all the stuff that I talk about here on the channel. Money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, stimulus, Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, SNAP benefits, food stamps, EBT. I mean, seriously, the list goes on and on. I'm here for you any way that I can be. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, have a good one, and catch you again later.